Coach, the prevailing wisdom is that Caleb's got the Rookie of the Year locked up. Do you think Jayden can steal it from him?
Yeah, definitely. We saw it last year, right? There was the consensus #1 pick, or pretty close to consensus #1 pick, and we have a totally different result than what I think anybody expected. And I'd say the same thing is true for Jayden. I really liked him on college tape, not just because of the plays that he made down the field, which there were an impressive group of those. I thought he had good poise in the pocket. He wasn't trying to get out quickly all the time. But when he got out, it was like he was shot out of a cannon.
That's my favorite.
Nobody timed him in the 40, but you don't need a 40 to watch on tape and go, God, that's really fast. It was really fast.
We did this last time.
I'm telling you.
And Coach has all these. Sometimes, Coach, you have these like very intricate breakdowns where you're like, look, and when he's up against this coverage, and then your breakdown on Jayden is like, he is very fast. Guys, he is so fast.
It's kind of like the Caleb Wow plays where that's the only way you can describe it. It's like, I'm not sure what his numbers are, but you don't really need to watch to know he's going to outrun pretty much everybody else who's on the field. But I really liked the fact that that wasn't his first answer. He was trying to stay in the pocket. He was trying to make those plays work. And when things broke down, he took off. I know Nick hates him because he says he's too thin.
The hate is not
okay,
fair.
Nick says
I don't like skinny, small quarterbacks.
Oh.
I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't. It makes me nervous.
Okay,
That's
I don't know
all
how
it is.
small he is, but he may be a little bit on the thin side. But look, he'll probably grow into his body. A lot of us do.
Okay, yeah. No, he's not on the. My point is, my entire reservation about him is the exact same reservation I had about Bryce Young. One is too skinny, the other is too small, which is there is simply to me a threshold that like a roller coaster, you must be this size for me to think I can spend a top 3 pick in the draft on you to play quarterback.
Well, it's easier to gain weight than it is to
if he would have, he could have. If
really?
he could have, he would have. Yes, he's
so everybody
old.
who graduates from college, that's their bar. Like wherever they are, they can't change their body at all.
I'm telling you that
why do we have weight rooms?
Because, Coach, if he was at LSU with probably a better weight room than the Commanders have, and he came out that size, that to me says he's not going to get much bigger. That's my only complaint about him, and it's just how I feel. I don't dislike the player. He's a great player. I just don't think he'll be able to stay.
I think he does have a good chance of winning Rookie of the Year.
There we go.
And look, and this kind of supports what you're saying because of his experience. I mean, 5 years, parts of 5 seasons in college football. He's 23. Look, he's going to be 24 in December. But I think that'll allow him to adjust pretty quickly to the NFL. He does have weapons with McLaurin. Like, I actually think if they have similar seasons, because he's got the benefit of playing without expectations.
That's right.
Everybody's expecting not only Caleb individually to play well, but him to lift that team, whereas Daniels has the chance to really develop without people expecting so much immediately.
And CJ had a lot of that too.
Yep.
If not only that, but a lot of people question whether or not he was drafted way too high based off of all the pre-draft concerns that came out of nowhere.
October 27th, home against the Bears. That's going to be decided.
Yeah.
Agree, Rodgers didn't deserve a spot.
Yeah, listen, I understand Jaylen Johnson's frustration. I think the worst snubs were his position group. He didn't make it. L'Jarius Sneed, who was an All-Pro, didn't make it. Sneed was not an All-Pro. Trent McDuffie was an All-Pro. He didn't make it. Meanwhile, Deron Bland was top 35, ahead of Sauce Gardner. So I thought that was poorly done. But just about Rodgers in the top 100, Rodgers should not be on the list and Baker Mayfield not on the list.
Wait.
You can't have Rodgers ahead of Baker in 2024.
Sure.
You just
Baker
can't.
Was like 102.
So
I would have Rodgers ahead.
Okay, well, can I show you 2 things real quick? What about since Baker came into the league? So this is a large sample. Which one is it? Do we not have them both in the playoffs? Okay.
I think Rodgers has won 2 MVPs.
So here's Rodgers. Hold on. Well, here's I'll explain in a moment. Here's their last healthy years. So Baker flatly better last year than Rodgers was his last year in Green Bay. That's undeniable. The other thing that I was going to show you, but I'll just tell you instead, since Baker's been in the league, he's there it is. That's them in the playoffs over the last 6 years. That's the 6 years them in the playoffs. So you tell me how the younger, healthier player on the team with the better coaching staff and the more dynamic weapons shouldn't be ahead of Aaron Rodgers on this list.
Well, with that graphic, like I said, Rodgers has 2 MVPs since Baker's been in the league. Now, I will give you, based on his last 2 seasons, including last year, right, where he obviously didn't play, and the last year in Green Bay wasn't good. If you just go on that, then yes, he does not deserve to be in the top 100. But I still am not ready to write off Aaron Rodgers. And maybe he'll be a dud this year and we'll be done with him. But right now, with him being engaged, and I know he's still quirky and crazy and all that, but with him being engaged with those weapons, here's the thing, Nick. If Baker Mayfield was quarterback of the New York Jets, do you think people, and you might think these people are crazy for thinking they got a shot at getting to the Super Bowl with Rodgers, do you think anybody, if Baker Mayfield was their quarterback, would be thinking the Jets had a chance to get to the Super Bowl?
No, but I don't think they have a chance to get the Super Bowl.
But there are a number of people that do give them a shot.
Yeah, the first thing I'd say is for Jaylen Jones Johnson to not worry about a poll. Like, you want your corners to not be frustrated by things like that. So that'd be the first thing I'd say. And then the second thing I'd say is if you put those 2 options in front of 32 GMs, where for this next season you can have Baker or you could have Aaron, I would argue that the vast majority, if not 80% of them, would say that they would take Aaron over Baker for this coming season, regardless of what team they were on.
I'm willing to bet my life that Baker or that Aaron has better stats than Baker this year.
I'm saying if this were a draft and these were my 2 options, and you put those 2 options in front of all the GMs across the league, said this is who you can go into your season with, I'm arguing that 80% of.
If you were coaching the Jets again, and you had this defense, that team, that offensive line, and you know everything goes wrong with both guys, and you're like, hey, you can have either one of these players, who would Eric Mangini pick?
Well, look, I had Brett Favre, so I'm already in that family tree. Now, unfortunately, I have a house because I have that. It's been hard to sell. That being said, while he was healthy, he was really good, and I would probably take Aaron Rodgers.
Coach, you got to get rid of this house.
I know.
Well,
It wasn't the real estate market has gone up and down. You should have been able to unload this house.
With any luck, at the end of this week, that'll be a reality.
Oh, good.
Really? Wow.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.